like there's a lot of things we talk about the offense. There's questions with that. You have questions elsewhere. There's one thing that it feels like yesterday was very evident that you don't have questions with this Astros team, and his name is Hunter Brown.
He's the guy, right? I mean, there's no more question about that. 4 starts.
He's the ace?
No, he is.
4 starts, 1.5 ER, 1.50?
1.25 ERA.
Is it 1.25 at this point?
1.25, according to what I saw, 0.83 whip, and a 17-inning scoreless streak. That's how you do it. I mean, that's – and here's the thing. I'm not necessarily criticizing Framber. Framber can still do those things. But the most consistent pitcher, the best start, and I'm going to give you a little historical context here in a little bit with Hunter Brown's start. But, like, Framber can still do it. Framber can still get it done and still show ace stuff. But Hunter Brown is the ace. He's the guy you want out there.
So if the playoffs started
Hunter
right
Brown.
now, you going with Hunter Brown
Hunter
first?
Brown. Why would you not?
Well, yeah. I can still do incredible things, but I think the consistency that Hunter Brown is starting to show, which is wild to consider for a 26-year-old pitcher, right, in his age 26 season, a dude doing that. And really the thing that has been impressive to me is just the coolness, the calmness that he has displayed on the mound, even when, like, maybe he doesn't get a call that's good, or maybe, you have a solo shot or what have you. He's able to lock it right back in and continue getting after folks. I mean, he got in a little bit of trouble early in this one. Got some runners on the base paths and still managed to get out of it, striking dudes out, in fact.
Well, really, he only had 4 strikeouts, I believe, but that power sinker was getting bad contact and was getting people out. Shout out to Alex Bregman, because that's the pitch that Bregman told him last year he needs to throw more often, and now it's one of the most dangerous pitches in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's utilizing it more against lefties as well. Like he's continuing to grow. I think ultimately the way that I would put this is with the level that we're seeing him at right now feels like it's closer to what the floor is than what the ceiling is.
Yes.
And that's the thing that I think is even more impressive for me is that, hey, man, he's pitching really well. And that probably sounds wild to say with a dude who has a 1.5. I just double-checked. 1.5 ERA. Even then, like sub-2. You're cooking with grease, right? Like you're cooking with gas, I guess is the more traditional way of saying that phrase. But ultimately, like, that's kind of sounds wild to say. But I think the way that he's going about it, the level-headedness, like he does not have that concern, at least I don't feel like it, that you have that concern of what's going to happen if this bad thing happens to him. He's going to become the must-watch portion on this Astros team that, if I'm going to be completely honest, it feels like it has fewer must-watch things than it has had in recent history.
But that's the difference between he and Framber. Over the years, when we get frustrated with Framber, it's because things can get in his head. He lets things affect him emotionally or mentally. Hunter Brown does not, and that's why Hunter Brown is the guy that you trot out there, in those types of situations. Now, let me give you some context here to just how good a start this is for Hunter Brown. We just went over his stats and the scoreless innings and all that stuff. 1.5 ERA, 0.83 WHIP. Let's compare it to some of the greatest 4-game starts that we've seen in recent years. With some of the greats here. Garrett Cole in 2019, incredible year. Through his first 4 starts, 3.2 ERA and a 0.92 WHIP. Not as good as what Hunter Brown is doing.
Okay.
Justin Verlander won the Cy Young in 2019. First 4 starts, 3.5 ERA, 1.174 WHIP. Not as good as what Hunter Brown's done so far. Framber in 2022, when he had his career high in wins, 3.15 ERA, 1.4 WHIP. Not as good as what Hunter Brown's done through 4 starts. And let's go back to 2015, their first playoff run. Dallas Keuchel, Cy Young. Cy Young.
Yes.
Through his first 4 starts, 0.62 ERA, you're not going to touch that, but a 0.82 WHIP, which is not as good as Hunter. First 4 starts is as good or better in most cases than the best seasons as Astros that Justin Verlander, Garrett Cole, Framber, and Dallas Keuchel have had.
You got to, I mean,
think about that.
We're a tenth of the way through the season, right? There's a lot of baseball to go. It's early, marathon, not a sprint, all that. Cy Young feels like this is not entirely out of the realm of possibility.
Obviously very, very early, as you mentioned. But, I mean, just look at those numbers. Those, like, Two of those guys won Cy Youngs, and I think Garrett Cole finished like second or third to Justin Verlander in 2019. And their starts were not as good as what we've seen from Hunter Brown. He's your ace. And let's be very clear about this. It's not a criticism per se of Framber, because if you have two guys that can dial up a game like that, and Framber can, in a winnable division, you're way ahead of the game.
Sure. Yeah. And I think okay, so where my brain has gone is kind of a weird place, especially after what you said, because absolutely if you have good Framber and you have Hunter Brown going, that 1-2 punch is huge. When you get into a postseason series, if you can go 1-2 with guys that you feel confident, either we can write the W in pencil, or we can feel very confident that at least we have a really solid chance of winning the game. That's a great place to be. Like, you already are starting with the level of advantage. However, considering the situation where we know that there has not been extension talks with Framber, if you can get some reinforcements coming back, remembering that Lance McCullers is going to have his third or fourth rehab start? Fourth rehab start,
I think.
Coming up soon. Obviously, you have Christian Javier, hopefully expected to come back maybe mid-season. Some of those types of guys. Could you possibly see the possibility of trading Framber at the deadline?
It depends on where they are. It absolutely depends on where they are. You write it out. I mean, and traditionally the Astros have. They've played it out without. We talked about Kyle Tucker trades last trade deadline, and that didn't happen. So traditionally they write it out. Depends on where you are. But you get these two guys that can in a very winnable division, as we talked about. It affects how you can use your bullpen. The strain on your bullpen. How you can use some of these back-end rotation guys as you go down. So, keep it up. Keep it up, Hunter Brown, because it's going to make things a lot better for the Astros.
Ultimately, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I'm very much in a place where Hunter Brown is on the docket. Yeah, I'm absolutely tuning in to see him pitch. He has definitely reached that level for me.